Hell yeah. Wyatt begins in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yo, welcome to Wyatt. And I'm your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans. Grrr, woof, goddammit, woof, 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 woof. Hi, I said hi to all my YouTubers out there. If you like what you hear and if you like what you see, just click that subscribe button at the bottoms of all your screens. And while you're at it, because I knows you loves me, give me some likes. Give me some likes and leave me some comments as well. All right, y'all. Today's Wyatt is hot. Special guest is Mr. Tom Logan Jr., the inventive entrepreneur and community influencer. And Mr. Logan is the CEO and founder of Ebanman, the renowned lifestyle brand and platform. He's here to talk about all that, plus his new coffee table book that showcases the stories of 43 accomplished and inspiring Black gay SGL men's who are absolutely fantabulously delicious. I'm talking delicious. So look, let's get this party started. So without further ado, Wyatt welcomes Mr. Tom Logan Jr., the inventive entrepreneur and community influencer. He's also the CEO and founder of Ebanman, the renowned brand and platform. So talk at me. How the hell are ya?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for this invite. I am so honored to be a part of your amazing podcast. So thank you. Thank you very much for this.
Listen, my pleasure. Hey, let me ask you a question. Did you like my intro?
Oh, of course, I loved it. We always need a good hype man, right?
Well, you know what? Look, you should hire me as your PR consultant because, my brother, I always need another stream of income. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I will definitely put you on the list.
Oh, so you got a long list. Okay. All right. Now you better just like put me at the top.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Anyway, man, listen, thank you so much for dropping by, Wyatt. I greatly appreciate it. And let me get serious here because I found this fascinating quote. You appeared on rollingout.com's Equity in Focus podcast this past May. And Tom, you stated, and I quote, "To sum me up in some aspects, I'd call myself the connector. I'm always looking for those gaps in the system, always looking for how I can help someone who may be looking for a resource. Who do I know in my circle who I can connect that individual with? I always look at how to improve the people around me," end quote. Tom, unpack that for us, please, and explain what you mean by gaps in the system.
Wow. I need to start making sure I remember and be careful of everything I say, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's being quoted.
Yes.
But no, that is a true statement. So give you a little backstory of how I actually came on to consider myself a connector. I was working on a project with a gentleman about 4 or 5 years ago, and he said, I want to give you this gentleman's phone number for you to call and have a conversation with him. And I said, okay. At the time, didn't really think too much about it. And so I called the gentleman and we had a conversation. And so he started and he stated, for you to have received my phone number from this person, then this conversation must be for a reason. And so he said, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I had a conversation about my journey so far. And then he said, well, let me tell you a little bit about myself because it seems like there is some synergy. So he started holding a conversation. In that conversation, he said, I'm a connector. And as soon as he spoke that word, that name, that description of himself, it identified with me. It was like light bulbs went off, and I was like,
Oh.
that's me. That's what I do on a daily basis. I just never had a definition for it or something to call it. And so ever since, I've kind of, again, self-described myself as that connector. But going back to the meaning behind the gaps in the system, being a Black man, being a Black LGBTQ gay man, there's always gaps that I see in terms of resources, in terms of information, in terms of just services that the community has and the lack thereof. So I'm always looking for ways to improve in terms of elevating the experience, either through events, information, resources that I can provide on my website, our platforms. It could be as simple as someone needs general information on whatever have you. If it's a resource or a person within my circle, I always try and find that information for them.
Mm. Wow, outstanding, outstanding. We're going to dissect Ebanman later in the show, but for now, Tom, describe Ebanman in 25 words or less, like an elevator pitch, if you will.
Oh, okay. Ebanman, we are a lifestyle brand for professional Black gay men. We focus on engaging, enlightening, and elevating the Black gay experience.
Great. You did that in less than 25 words. I'm impressed. Usually people go over. Yeah, usually people do 30, 40. And I said, look, keep it down to 25. But anyway. And sometimes they do 50, 60. I'm saying, my God, I don't want a whole treatise. I just wanted an elevator pitch.
And you actually missed the message in there, right?
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do a deep dive into your professional journey, of course, Ebanman, and we're going to also talk about a little bit later your unique coffee table book titled Representation Matters, a dossier of Black gay men, and the volume showcases the stories of 43 accomplished, self-assured, inspiring Black gay SGL men and one ally from different walks of life. But for right now, let's travel down the corridors of time to learn about your backstory, about your beginning, because we at Wyatt, I said Wyatt, are nosy like that. We're all inquiring minds. We want to know shit, so we want to know your background. Where were you born and raised?
So born and bred actually on the south side of Chicago, still living on the south side of Chicago. Chicago has that sense of home for me, of course, always being raised here. And growing up in Chicago, it was a lot different. Growing up on the south side, it was a really fun experience. It's so interesting how a lot of people say you don't really realize how much you had or didn't have until you get older. I was raised with two-parent household, my mom and dad, absolutely amazing. If I could ever be half of the man my father was, I think I've done a lot in life. It's so interesting how myself and my brothers, I'm actually the youngest of three. Myself and my brothers, we really cannot say we had a difficult or bad childhood. My parents tried to provide us with as much as they could. I remember seeing a TikTok where a gentleman said, my parents only took me as far as they could. And I definitely have to give that to my parents. They took me as far as they could, and then from there, they gave me the foundations of treating other people as if and how I would want to be treated, extending love and understanding to everyone. My mom, on the other hand, was more so, ask questions first. So I got a mixture of both, but it was definitely a great experience. Working in corporate America, one of the great things my dad always taught me was, he said, never walk into a job dressed as the position that you are going for. Always dress for the position that you want to basically elevate to. And so I was always the one that made sure. Yes. And so anything that he talked to me, he always told me to make sure I stare at a man in his eyes, make sure I have a firm handshake. So the things that he learned working at, he worked in a steel mill. So the things that he learned just working around individuals, he wanted to make sure that he instilled some of that in me. Very strong work ethic. So working in corporate America for me, a lot of it did help me in terms of navigating. But I'm sure, as you know, being of a certain age, back then it was not really that many that we could identify with. There was no one within the corporate environment that I felt like I could have as a peer-to-peer conversation. It was a colleague conversation, but it wasn't that more so just kind of in depth of what's going on. So I was able to make some connections, but not that in depth in terms of being Black and being gay. So working up through the ranks from customer service to management positions in different industries of telecom, actually in the steel industry at one time, retail, just the gamut. But always the core thing was something is missing. And I knew that there was something else out there that I could do besides what I was doing, something that I needed to find my purpose and passion for.
Okay, let me stop you right there because I want to take you back because I need to ask my favorite question of my guest. And here it is. What was Tom like as a little boy, a little nipper? Give us 3 characteristics, attributes that you say best describe to you.
Oh.
Because it gives you it gives people a window into who you are as an adult.
So I think I am totally different than how I was as a child. My parents spoiled us, and not spoiled us in a bad way, but our parents spoiled us. There was never really anything that we could not get that we asked for. Very conservative in some aspects. So growing up as a child, I probably was a lot more rambunctious. I probably was a lot more outspoken. Let's take that back. I definitely was a lot more outspoken. And so I think working in corporate America and during that time frame, a lot of the characteristics, I don't want to say dissolve, but they conformed and they changed to the environment. Because a lot of times back then, you couldn't be as outspoken without being reprimanded, or you couldn't be considered being outspoken without being considered the angry Black man, and the angry Black man still coincides today. So I think a lot of those characteristics of mine had to change for me to be able to survive and navigate the corporate environment.
That makes sense. Okay. Let's teleport to adulthood, and you touched on this a little bit earlier, but let me go for it. You worked for more than 20 years in corporate America. You held positions of authority, but then you changed course and you stated, and I quote, I embarked on a transformative journey into entrepreneurship driven by a profound dedication to addressing the unmet needs of the Black LGBTQ plus community. End quote. Bold move. Tell us more.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm sure with everyone, and it is definitely on the rise now, where it's called basically the Great Escape, where people are really realizing that for some of us, depending on our ethnicity, our demographics, our mental state, for lack of a better word, are looking to find something better in life. That we know that there is something out there other than just working for a machine. And that's how I was really feeling. And it didn't change. It just seems that every scenario was a different place, same situation. And at one point I said, there has to be something else. I really got to start figuring out my passion. And I had been working on Ebanman for a while. And I really just decided, based on situations, that it's really a great opportunity to just go ahead and see where this will take me. If I can make hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars for corporations, then I need to be able to figure out a way to take those skill sets and do it for myself. And embarking on that
Amen.
journey, it was definitely passion, because again, looking for the gaps in the system, I really couldn't find resources for myself that I was looking for online. And that's kind of how Ebanman evolved. Social events. I used to host First Fridays here in Chicago for Black gay men. And I plan on restarting those again in October. But again, it was also an outlet for me. I was a kind of a club person in my 20s and my 30s. But as I got older, as we all do, hopefully, at some point you realize that it's the same thing. It really doesn't have any substance or worth to it from my personal perspective. And so I decided to kind of curate an experience where, again, it was an elevated experience, nice venue, curated cocktails, curated catered
Oh,
food, and a
nice.
Q&A conversation. So a well-rounded event. And I personally
Mm.
enjoy pulling those things together because, again, I'm that person that wants to make sure that everybody that walks into the room leaves with an experience, leaves with some other type of resource
Mhm.
or information they didn't have coming in. And so um, that's what I wanted to do. And I think that endeavor of leaving corporate America, but I do appreciate it because some of the skill sets that I
Mhm.
acquired do help me today. So nothing was ever in vain. Just like a lot of people say, you just have to figure out how to use the information and the skill sets and turn it into a positive or something that can help you for yourself.
Absolutely, Tom. Well put. I'm curious, what's the meaning behind Ebane Man? What is it derived from?
Great question. When I was looking at how do I brand this concept of a lifestyle brand, um, I always try to look at some type of ethnicity root to it. And so I started looking up African words to see if there was a word that coincided or made sense with the concept that I was looking for. So I looked
Mm-hmm.
at this Endrika word, Ebane. And
Mm-hmm.
Ebanman is an Ndika word, and it means safety, love, security, a home or a community that you would find for individuals that are looking to find a secure, safe space. And I felt like that was perfect. And all I did was just add the word Ebane, and then man to come up with Ebane Man, which basically or essentially means a community of Black gay men.
Ah, I like that. I
Thank
like
you.
that. I like that. Yeah, it's substantive and it's clever as well. Describe Ebane Man's mission and what are you accomplishing and what do you hope to accomplish in the future?
Um, so our mission is always to, for the shortest answer, is to elevate the Black gay experience for me. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always looking at those gaps, looking at how can I improve, where are the disconnects. So where are the things that from my own perspective and from my circle that I feel like would hopefully help me and others. I go back to the First Friday events that I would host, and going out lately, and people are seeing me and they're saying, "Hey, Tom, when are you going to start hosting the First Fridays again? We missed them." Or a gentleman had sent me an email asking me about the First Friday, saying, "I met a friend at one of the events, and we're still friends to this day. So I really appreciate how you hosted them. Please let me know when you start them again." So it's things like that that are the mission of Ebane Man, that people, it resonates with the community. It shows that um, there's a reason for it, there's a need for it. And again, yeah, that's our mission, is really just to elevate the experience.
Wonderful. Okay. Now this is what I want to talk about.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Give us the full Monty, the real deal on your new coffee table book entitled Representation Matters, a dossier of Black gay men. As I stated earlier, it's a coffee table book. showcases the stories of 43 accomplished, self-assured, and inspiring Black gay SGL men and one ally from different walks of life. Now, I have to say, man, you've created and produced a substantive, striking, and handsome product. And I have to say, because you know I'm going to say it, the men's profile in the book are deliciously handsome as well. I had to get that out of there, boy. Hey, listen, my audience. Look, you got to buy this book because the men, I mean, the color is, it's vibrant, it's striking, the photography is just so on point. It's like they could just pop out at you. And wouldn't you want them to pop out at you? Would you?
Thank you so much. I love that intro. I need a copy of that so we can definitely use that as an intro to promote the book on a consistent basis. You're definitely at the top of the list now.
Oh, I finally made it to the top of your list. I had to do all of this to be on the top of your. So this was an audition.
Your audition was pristine. Thank you.
Oh my God.
But no, I really appreciate that. And that speaks volumes to the project itself. Ebanman has always profiled Black gay men on our website and on our social channels. The gentleman Perez Harrison Pratt, who is one of the authors, as well as Phyllis Steam is one of the authors as well. We have Phil, been, yes, two amazing gentlemen, couldn't have been able to produce the project without them. When we initially were working on the profiles for this past year, I started looking like we do this every year. They're on our website, they're on our social channels, but after that, they kind of just fade away. And so I said, let's figure out something that's a little bit more tangible that people can see on a regular basis or showcase, again, figuring out that way of how we elevate a product to be on par with the conversations or profiles that we're having with these individuals. And so I came up with the concept of creating a coffee table book, did some research just to see what was out there, any comparables. And I did see a few that were out there. And I looked, of course, and said, well, how can we improve upon this? And so I looked at some other counterparts just to see what options. I looked at, of course, the Tom Fords, the Gucci's, the other kind of more high-end coffee table books as some comparisons on design, art direction, or how to, again, provide a nice or high caliber product. Then I said, let's take a look at the individuals. And so going through the book actually takes you on a journey. So the journey is a journey of each individual's life experience. And so there are sections in the book that correlate with the individuals that we curated. So we also have Representation Matters. We have Black Gay Love. We have Seat at the Table. Amen. My Brother's Keeper. In each section, we made sure that we had individuals that correlated with that section, and the conversations were so authentic, provided so much insight, and we were so honored that every single person that we approached was more than happy to participate. The gentleman at the end of the book is our ally. The ally was so important. When we initially reached out to him, we assumed, and again, just assumed that the individual was part of the community just based on some information. But then we turned and found out that he was an ally. And we thought about, do we add this to the book? What would be the importance of it? And it was so important and so crucial after we read the reasoning behind, because a friend of his was a part of the community, and learning and educating himself through his friend gave him that insight of the importance of being an ally. And so we wanted to make sure that not only people in the community could resonate with that, but people that picked up the book that are outside of the community could see this one individual giving them examples or giving them another reason to think about the importance of being an ally within the community. You may have a brother, sister, cousin, relative, colleague, whatever it is. Getting a better and clearer understanding throughout the book of the community and the spectrum that we're in. We're not monolithic. And then also at the end of the book, which is the icing on the cake of the importance of it.
Tom, I like that. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, sure. In the journey of curating Representation Matters, a dossier of Black gay men, what have you learned?
First, I take my hat off to anyone that is an author, anyone that is writing a book. I learned a lot about the process. It is not, and the process still goes on. So, one of our board of directors, I really appreciated how he stated the fact that a lot of people really need to understand that it is a process. It takes a lot longer than expected. This project was supposed to take maybe 4 to 6 months because the product that we provided to the publishers, to the designers, was completed. The book was completed. The only thing they needed to do was to lay out and help get the book published. And that, again, turned from a 4 to 6 month project to almost a year and a couple months now. So the process I learned, again, those gaps, the issues in the system and how to improve upon it. This book is a series of 10. So each year we are coming out with a new series. And so this next series that's coming out, I already have realized what I need to do and what not to do on this next book. So again, nothing was in vain. It was a learning lesson on how to move in the future more streamlined on the product. But we love it. I mean, I would not change one part of it now. I am very particular with things that I curate because sometimes as a community, we want to make sure that we're seen in a certain light. And the individuals that are in this book, I wanted to make sure, again, that the product that we produced was on par with them.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a quality product. It's ambitious, it's critical, and it's a hell of a conversation piece.
Thank you.
Really is. It really is. What are some of the key takeaways you hope readers will get from reading the book?
Some of the takeaways, and even to go back to your previous question, some of the takeaways was the resilience of the community. These individuals talk about, some of them talk about their struggles, some of them talk about just being Black and gay in the community, and some of them just talk about just general working in corporate America or just their experience in life. And a lot of times that resounding continuous thread was just the resilience, determination, the passion, the experience. I would say, and hopefully don't quote me on this, but I would say if you had to ask a majority of individuals throughout that book, would they change an experience? Would they change being Black and gay? I would say a resounding no. No, I think a lot of times that extra layer adds to the creativity, adds to the resilience, adds to the total development of once you become your authentic self, there's really nothing that can stop you.
Okay. So, in other words, these men are more than just eye candy, although Lord knows they're eye candy. Lord knows they're eye candy. And you know, I appreciate eye candy. I mean, that quality eye candy, the eye candy that is just of quality. We're not talking about stuff that you buy in CVS drugstore or something like that. I'm talking about quality eye candy, but they're more than just that. They're like fine wine and the best cut of steak.
Yes, I love that. So I really suggest when you purchase the book, make sure you open up your favorite bottle of wine, light that favorite candle, start with page 1 and thumbnail all the way to the end. I love that. Yes, that is the experience that we want you to have.
So, see, my PR audition for you is going so well.
It is. It
You know,
is.
it really is.
It is.
It really is, Mr. Logan
Yes.
Jr. It's going so well. Where can you buy this wonderful book, man?
Great. Thank you. So you can go to Ebanman. That's ebanman.com. Once you go onto the website, you will see the link that will say buy now. Scroll through,
Mhm.
it will definitely give you some more details about the book, the author, and more information about the individuals that are profiled in the book. And at the bottom of that link, you will see the purchase now. And the book now is currently on pre-order. So once we get to a certain amount of orders, then we can go ahead and, of course, purchase and release.
Wonderful. Oh, our buddy Philistine, who is the administrator of prideindex.com, which
Yes.
is a wonderful portal for Black talent, people of color. He is the producer of Artists in the Afternoon that's going to be later this month. So you're going to participate as well. So if you would, Tom, tell us about the event, tell us the venue, the date, and what your role is in that.
So, Artists in the Afternoon, and thank you for bringing that up. So, Artists in the Afternoon is a concept of Philistine, and it's an amazing event. It is being hosted in Atlanta, and my
Mm-hmm.
apologies, I don't know the exact location, but it is the end of the month. I want to say it's August 30th or 31st. But I do plan on attending. I will be on the panel with, I'm honored of that, first of all, being on the panel with some other great authors and other experienced
Mm-hmm.
individuals in the room. And it is, I think, a 2 or 3 hour event, and it is free to the public. There will be food as well as beverages being provided as well throughout the day. So if you are in Atlanta, and it's actually taking place Pride weekend in Atlanta, if
Mm-hmm.
you are available to attend, we would love to have you show up. My book will be on display if people would like to see the book at that time and make a purchase as well. But it is a great event to attend. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Oh man, my pleasure. So everybody, to learn more about Artists in the Afternoon, just go to prideindex.com. All of the information will be there. Before we leave, Tom, and thank you, this has been really a great conversation.
No, thank you.
Um, do you, oh man, listen, my pleasure. Do you feel there's a need for more LGBTQ plus representation across the board, but particularly in media?
Yes, I do. What's interesting is a colleague and I are working on some things when it comes to more representation in media. And when you look around at certain streaming services or media distribution, and it's nothing against the corporation, it's nothing against the what's out there and available, but a lot of the Black front-facing companies that some of us already know are not being produced, not owned,
Yeah,
and by us. And
right,
so
right.
it goes back to, is the creativity being stifled? Is the opportunities being stifled? Is the
Yeah.
funding being stifled? Is it being sent to us in a certain direction for a certain reason, for a certain product that they want us to produce? There's a
Right.
difference in anything of ownership for us by us. And so I totally agree. I do feel that there's still a lack in media for us, but I think tides are changing. We're gaining more resources and information, even to go back from the simplest things of, again, I'm kind of an avid on TikTok, and I was really surprised at how some of the times we have the funding, we have the resources, but we can't buy it, or we own it
Mm.
and we do not sell it back to someone within our community. We sell it outside of our community. And I think a lot of times that does
Mhm.
hinder. Again, to each his own, but it, recycling that black dollar, as well as recycling the community, I think is very important to the preservation of our creativity as a community.
Great. That's profound, and it makes a lot of sense. Okay, how do us grown folk connect with you, contact you, all of that good? Give us all of your social media.
I love that, grown folk. I love that. So
We be
we are,
grown, baby. We be grown.
yes. So we are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We're on Twitter, and you can go to again Ebanman, ebanman.com. Again, if you go to our website, you will see all of our social links at the bottom. But again, Ebanman, Ebanman. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Oh, my pleasure. And give us the title once again of that glorious, delicious book with all of those accomplished and inspiring and wonderful, handsome men's.
See, now not only are you at the top of the rank, I'm going to have to make sure that you're in one of these books because we need to include all the handsome men, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm in the top 2 of
That's right.
handsomest. That's right.
That's right.
Probably number 1, but I'm trying not to toot my own horn here. I'm trying to be as whatever as possible.
That's what I'm talking about. But yes, it is titled Representation Matters and is a dossier of 43 Black gay men and 1 ally. Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. Mr. Tom Logan Jr., thank you for stopping by. Wyatt, you must come back.
Oh, I will. I really enjoyed this. I will. Thank you.
My pleasure. Again, thank you so much. Yeah. So, y'all, there you have it. You can find the official Wyatt podcast page at WyattEvans.com, the go-to destination for LGBTQ plus news, features, commentary, and entertainment. WyattEvans.com is visited by more than 100 countries on the regular. All I can say to that is, hey, baby. And at WyattEvans.com, you'll find my smoking hot, HAWT hot, Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series of novels. And as you just saw on the top, the newest installment is called Shattered. I said Shattered. And y'all, Shattered is full of action, danger, intrigue, sexually charged situations, passion, and all of the wonderful elements that you're used to in the Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series of novels. So get your new copy of Shattered. Now, you can follow me, your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans, all across social media, and poof, is right there for you to peruse, like TikTok and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And if you have any comments or whatever, you can hit me up at wyattonair@gmail.com. So until next time, y'all, woof, goddammit, woof, 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 woof. I said, woof.